Historically, following any political convention for any political party, whether it's the Democrats or Republicans, their candidate always, every time sees a bounce in the polls. Sometimes it's a small bounce of 1 point. Sometimes it can be a big bounce of 5 to 8 points. But there is always a bounce in the polls for the candidate who just got off their convention. Until now. Once again, just like Donald Trump did not get a sympathy bounce in the polls after the shooting at his rally last week, he also not only didn't get a bounce from the convention, according to oddsmakers, the people who take bets on these things, Donald Trump's chances of winning this year's election decreased by 6 percentage points following the end of that disastrous convention last Thursday evening. So it's not just that he didn't get the bounce according to the odds makers, not the pollsters, but the odds makers. It's that his performance was so bad and the convention itself was such a friggin' freak show that he is now less likely to win the White House than before the convention. So once again, Donald Trump out there defying conventional wisdom, taking away standard talking points for those of us in the political science arena. We can no longer look at everything that has happened in the past and assume that it is going to happen in the future. Trump has turned that on its head because he is such an unlikable and disturbingly disgusting figure in American politics. Now, don't get me wrong here, because the odds makers still show Donald Trump the heavy favorite to win in November. They're not saying he is not going to win. They do believe he will win, but his chances of winning dropped by 6 points. He was ahead by 71%. Now he's ahead by 65%. So a 6-point drop, but still pretty far ahead of his Democratic opponent, President Biden. Now, things do shift a bit with these odds makers when you replace Biden and replace him with Vice President Kamala Harris. She still, according to the odds makers, does not beat Donald Trump, but she stands a better chance of doing it. Now, again, these are not political polls. So I don't want you to get confused between the polls and the odds that, the bet makers take. So there is a difference between the two, but there is a correlation between the two as well. Because this is based on what people see, what people feel and think at any given moment. Polls are meant to live a little bit longer than these odds that you have if you're going to place a bet on these types of things. And that's why the odds are more reflective of the immediate reactions of the public. So in a way, they're actually a little bit more reliable because they do change from day to day. And I hope that makes sense, trying to get into all of that, but it's the political scientist in me wanting to explain all the way the polls and everything works. But either way, Trump needed a big bounce from the convention because he's only beating Biden nationally by 1 point, and he didn't get it. It did not materialize. His odds decreased of winning the White House this November, and honestly, that's probably the best news the Democrats have gotten in the last few weeks. Hi, everyone. This here is little Athena. And Athena would like to know why you haven't subscribed to Fair and Balanced yet. So please, don't let Athena down. Subscribe today.